Thumbnails are the most important part of the video creation process. Because if your thumbnail doesn't grab attention, nobody's even gonna click, no matter how good your video may be. So today I'm going to show you my 3-step process to making high quality Minecraft thumbnails that anyone can do. And best of all, it's 100% free. So with that, let's get right into our first step. Hello, hi, it's me, Opticality, and I'm here to show you how to make a great background for your thumbnail. Here I am inside of a creative Minecraft world. I built this sign, it says easy. You can read it, right? I think you might recognize this. It's why you clicked on the video, isn't it? I am going to be making the thumbnail for this video that you're currently watching as you're watching it. Now, isn't that some kind of fourth wall break kind of thingy? We're going to start out with one of my most important tips for getting a good background for your thumbnail. And that is simply your FOV. Right now, my FOV is at 80. Yours is probably somewhere around this area. Bring it down. Bring it down. I like to put mine at 40. You can bring yours all the way down to 30, wherever you like, but it's got to be low. That's how you make your thumbnail pop. And I often see people that forget to do this, so don't forget it. It's important. I promise. And now that we have our FOV in the right spot, I have to water those coral. 1 second. /tick freeze. Oh shoot, much better. And now we're ready for some of my suggested mods. Of course, if you're on Bedrock Edition, none of this applies to you. I'm sorry. Just go ahead and take a screenshot here with your FOV correct, wherever you would like, and skip to this portion of the video. Now, for the rest of us, my first suggested mod is the Bobby mod. This mod lets you crank up your render distance super high, and every chunk that you load around you will be permanently in render distance. It won't be loaded, but you will be able to see it. Look how far I can see. I can see that jungle way over there. My next suggested mod is the Better Clouds mod. Look at those clouds. They're amazing. It's just so much better than the vanilla clouds. You gotta try this out. And finally, my last mod suggestion is flashback. Those of you who know me know I've made an in-depth tutorial on how to use flashback for cinematic shots, but this is just gonna go very surface level, how to get good screenshots with flashback. First of all, we of course have to make ourselves a recording. So we're just gonna start a recording. It's recording my entire thing. I can do a couple jumps. It's gonna record me doing it, and now we're done. We're just gonna finish that. That's all we need. And I'm gonna name it. Okay, we're done here. Let's go to flashback. My flashback recordings are kept into this little area. We're going to open it up and open up our recording. We're of course going to start inside of our face, so we're just going to use WASD, jump, and shift to control our camera. There I am. Look how cute. Now, flashback gives us so much to work with. It lets us hide distractions. First of all, we can remove all of the entities, all of the horses gone. We don't want those in our thumbnail. Get them out of here. We can also hide particles, players, blocks. Oh, wait, we want those. And the sky. If you want to do a green screen, you can use this green screen feature to have mobs isolated in your thumbnail, or in an empty world to have blocks or little builds or like chairs or whatever you want isolated for your thumbnail. I've used this plenty of times. We can set the time to whatever we want. We can make it night, we can make it day, we can make it sunset. We can put it to the very specific time we want it to be for our thumbnail to look best. And using the scroll wheel, we can make our camera move faster or slower. And then over at the bottom right, we can use the rule of thirds guide and the center guide to find ourselves the perfect camera angle. Optionally, if you would like to have shaders in your thumbnail, I use the iris mod, and this works alongside flashback. You can just toggle on your shaders, and yeah, there you go. It's the same exact thing, just with shaders on. And once we have it, all we need to do is press F1 to hide everything, and F2 to grab yourself a screenshot. And now that we have our background, it is time for step 2. And to do this, we're going to go to a very special website, MCSKINSHOP.chililisoup.dev. And those of you who know Chilily Soup is my good friend, and this is the website that she created. Look it's Steve. He's there. If we press this button, we can get a render of Steve standing there for our thumbnail. But that's not what we're going to do. We're going to do a few things first. First of all, if you want the site to look any differently, you can go to Edit, Preferences, Theme, and there's a bunch of different themes that she has made. You can also use a user. Oh wow, high contrast is crazy. You can use a user theme and you can make your own theme. But I'm just gonna use Cappuccino Mocha. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Perfect. Now we don't want Steve. We want our skin. So there's a few things we can do. We can do file import from username, which is the easiest way. We can just search up the username of any Minecraft skin, and there we go. There's me, and I have a little bit of Alex hair. We're just gonna delete this layer with Steve and Alex, and there we go. It's just me. Woohoo! Well, let's just say this is the skin I'm wearing right now currently, but it's not the skin I want to use in my thumbnail. You're able to drag and drop any skin from your computer into the layers, and oh wait, I need to hide the other one. There we go. There's my Island Boy skin. Now I can use this for my thumbnail. Oh, I don't want to. I want to use my other skin. This one. Yes, you can also do that by dynamically loading things, importing from URLs. There's so many different options in this website. Now, let's say I want to put some armor on my person. How would I go about doing that? Well, let's just do view, and we can do model features. There's capes. We can add any cape to our guy. There are elytras. All of these elytras available. Look it. We can even add the pancakes. You can add any type of helmet, chest plate, legging, boots, and you can even put items in the right or left hand. Any of these tools are available currently, but you can also upload some custom ones. I'm just gonna do a diamond sword just for demonstration purposes. Look at that guy. Look how cool he is. Right now, I am walking, and I can change the speed that I am walking at to make myself run super fast, or I can make myself crouch walk, swim. Ooh, look at that guy. Or fly. Yeah, it doesn't really look like I'm flying right now. I need to put an elytra on. There we go. I got an wait. A chest plate plus elytra, that's illegal. Much, much better. We can also hide the grid right here at the top. We can make myself not slim if I want to be, but that makes myself look wrong. And we can upload a background, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna upload the picture that I just took. Boom. There we go. That's our screenshot that we just took, and now I can position my player onto the screenshot exactly how I want it to be. Oh yes, look at that. I'm flying my screenshot. Okay, I made a little bit of a mess there. I cleaned up everything. We're back to where we started, okay? The next really useful feature in this website I haven't even touched yet is that we can turn off this animation. We can scroll it exactly where we want it to be, and we can use capture pose. Boom. We captured the pose, and now we have these tools. Move, we can move all of our things wherever we want them to be. Rotate, we can rotate everything wherever we want it to be. And scale, we can make everything as big as we want it to be. Oh goodness. Yes, there we go. Much better. So yes, you can use these to make very precise movements in your player model. You can even hold down control while you are using these little sliders, and you can make controlled movements. If you want to go back and forth from animate and pose, you can just press tab. My tip for this is to add some rotations to all of your arms, your legs, and your head. Just some very precise, very small little rotations in every direction. It makes it seem like it's something that's alive rather than just like a little statue. There we go. Now I look like a character full of life. And then don't forget about this little thing up here. The camera is first. First of all, our FOV has to match the screenshot FOV. So we're going to turn it down to 40 because that's what I took my screenshot at. And then you can zoom out with the scroll wheel. It'll still keep the FOV the same. And now let's do some lighting changes. You can turn off shading altogether if you want, but we like shading on this channel. We're going to keep that on. We're going to go to our directional light controls. We can change the amount of shadow that we have. You can change the angle of the shadow, you can change the intensity of the shadow, and you can change the color of it as well. You can get some really cool effects by just messing with these different lighting changes. I'm just gonna keep it white. Yes, very original. And then finally, you can also change the visibility. If you want no 3D hair, you can do that. If you want no head at all, you can do that. Wow, that's creepy. That is all of the features you have access to. I wanted to just give a quick brief overview of everything because this website has so much to explore and it's so much fun just to come mess with. So I definitely recommend you do that. If you're having trouble thinking of ways to make your player move, to make your player fit within the composition of your thumbnail, I definitely recommend just going to someone like Grian's channel, just scrolling through all of the ways he added his character into his thumbnails. All of these are possible with MCSKINSHOP. All you have to do is just position the character exactly how you want it to be and fit it in. This just gives some really good examples of what you can do, what does well, and what the more experienced YouTubers are coming up with. All right, I've done some finicking around here with some trial and error, putting the pose with the background, doing a bunch of different adjustments. This is what I've landed on for now. Something I never mentioned before is that you can change the pose and rotation of the elytra or cape that you put on yourself, just like that, and use Control Z or Command Z to undo, or Control Shift Z, Command Shift Z, I think, to redo. Once you have your pose completed, I would recommend saving it as a new pose, calling it whatever it is. This one's just going to be flying. And you can always go back and you can load the different poses that you have already created in the past, like this one, waving, load the pose, and there we go. There's me waving. Hello. But we're just going to keep it just like that, and we're ready to save the finished render. So to do that, we are going to just press this button on the bottom left here, and it's going to pop up with this little menu. You can do match viewport. That's going to be exactly the same size as your guy is there, or you can do 2 times for some higher resolution. I'm just going to do 2048 by 2048. That's the biggest. You can always manually adjust the numbers here, but this is going to get us some higher resolution for the thumbnail. You can also change the name. I'm going to change it to Optic Fly and just press the download button. Simple as that. And now it's time for the final step. Now for step 3, you're going to need some kind of program to put it all together in. Right now I'm using paint.net. It's just a software that lets you have layers of different stuff. It lets you edit them. It has a bunch of different tools and it's completely free. Now I'm using a little bit of a modified version. If I go to my effects and object, we're going to be using the outline object tool, which is a plugin that was made by BoltBait. So are a bunch of these other plugins that are pretty useful for making thumbnails. So down in the description down below, I have added a link to download paint.net for free, and then another link to the BoltBait plugin pack. All of these are optional. You can select which ones you want to keep and which ones you don't want. And on that website is also a tutorial on how to download the plugins correctly. And now that we have paint.net installed and our plugins ready to go, I'm going to show you a little bit around paint.net. First of all, there is this tool here, the move selected pixels. It'll just let you move whatever it is. It's just a move tool. Very simple. This is the rectangle tool. It lets you select an area. You can also use add to add more to the area, or subtract to subtract from the area, and so forth. There is also a paintbrush that you can change the color of whatever you want to paint, like that. You can also use the scroll wheel to change the size of your brush if you want it to be super big. There is also a pencil tool you can use to color individual pixels by themselves. This is very good for Minecraft. There is also a color picker. You can pick whatever color it is, and then you will have access to that color. A text tool where you can just use the text tool, type whatever you want. You can even change the font. I downloaded the Minecraft font, so I can use this Minecraft font, or I can use this Minecraft font. Very nice. And finally, one more tool I want to go over is the magic wand. If you click on something with the magic wand, it's going to select everything of that color. You can change the tolerance so it selects only that specific color or more and more of what's surrounding it until it just selects the entire image. This is very good for getting selections of your builds and stuff to make them stand out from the background. All right, so that's a brief overview of all the tools we have access to. Now let's bring in our thumbnail. So I'm just gonna drag and drop the screenshot from Minecraft into here and select open. And there we go. It made a new tab up here at the top where we have our screenshot, and we're gonna add a layer. Down here at the bottom right, there's the layers. We can add a new layer just like so, and this layer we can draw on top of, and then we can hide it if we don't want to see it anymore. We can change the opacity by double clicking on it. Ooh, very cool. But I don't want that. I'm just gonna make a brand new layer. So this layer is gonna be for our model that we created with MCSKINSHOP. So I'm just gonna drag and drop the image that I downloaded from MCSKINSHOP and open that one as well. Wow, there I am. Then I can use the move tool, select it, and do Control C to copy. Go back to the original, make sure I'm on the new layer, and Control V. And then it's going to come up with this menu here. We're going to keep the canvas size as it is. If we expand the canvas size, it's going to expand to the size of the image, but we don't want that. We just want to put this directly onto the screenshot like so. Now, the first thing I recommend is that you just keep a copy of your unedited model. It's not on any of the edges, because once you go to one of the edges, then it's going to crop it off. We don't want that. We're just going to keep it in the direct center. We're going to make a duplicate layer with this button here, and we're gonna hide the first layer, and this one is the one we can resize and make it perfectly just how we want. Now, before we go any further, I am going to give you guys another tip. This one is to go to Image, Resize, and then do 1280 by 720. If you do maintain aspect ratio, it's going to keep the same aspect ratio of the Minecraft screenshot, which is the same as a YouTube thumbnail. Thank goodness. Make sure resampling is on nearest neighbor. Anything else, it's not going to look good for Minecraft screenshots. We're going to press OK. It's going to resize our entire image. This will make it so it's the correct thumbnail size for YouTube. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make some text look good in the context. So we're just going to use the text tool. We're going to type whatever we want. Hello. Right now it's red text. We can change it to white text. We can change it to blue text, whatever we want. I'm just going to keep it directly white. And then up here, we can use the scroll bar to make the size larger. What we can do is go to Effects, Object, Outline Object. We can use this width to make the width of the outline bigger. We can use the blur to add some blur to the outline. There we go. Now we have some good old-fashioned text. We can also do the exact same thing to our character. We can do Effects, Repeat Outline Object, and it's going to just do the same outline as we did on our text on our player. How cool is that? But I don't want that, and I don't want the text. But you know what else would be cool? What if we had an arrow? Arrows are very useful in thumbnails. They're used all over the place. So what we can do is use this line tool and create a line. Wow, look at that line. It's beautiful. We can change the width of the line with our scroll bar up here, and then the style is what's important. We can click right here to change the style. It's going to sort through all of these different styles. We're just going to have one end be the curved and then one end be the end of the arrow. You can shape it with these little bubbles here. Make sure you shape it exactly how you want it because you only get one chance to do this or else you have to create an entirely new arrow. Let's say that's how we want our arrow to be. We'll press enter and then we can do Effects, Repeat Outline Object, and there we go. Now we have the same outline on an arrow. Another one of my favorite tools is if we do Effects, Object, Drop Shadow. We can make the angle of it different. We can make the distance higher. We can make the shadow radius more blurry, and we can make the opacity lower to make it less visible. But I actually don't think I want an arrow in this thumbnail. We're just gonna hide that for now and continue editing. Let's go to our background. Let's start by making our background look as beautiful as possible. First of all, there's a little bit of a sugarcane here, and I don't think I want that in the thumbnail. So I'm just gonna hold Shift while I resize so it stays the same aspect ratio. We're just gonna hold Shift and cut out that little sugarcane. We can go to Adjustments at the top here and start with Levels. So this is important to make your background brighter. So we're gonna just go to the input and we're gonna go to the top and we're just gonna take these two triangles and we're gonna move them down and see how the entire image, all of the brights get brighter. We don't want it to be too bright. We're just gonna move it down gently until we find the place where it looks the best. I think that's a little bit too much. We're just gonna move it a little bit up. Perfect. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the bottom. Make the darks darker. Perfect. I think that's good. I think that's good right there. We can also go to the output and change the midtones. I don't think they need to be changed too much though. We're gonna press OK, and it's gonna save our adjustments. Next up, we're gonna go back up to adjustments and we're gonna look at hue and saturation. It's gonna give us our hue, our saturation, and our lightness. The only thing that I'm gonna be changing here is the saturation. This is just gonna make all of the colors more vibrant. Look how much more vibrant that is. That's insane. That's too vibrant. I'm gonna go down until it looks just right. I think that looks pretty good. About 108. Not too much of a difference, but it makes the reds really pop. Now let's say that we want to add an outline around our letters here or around whatever build we have in our background. If we want to do that, we're going to have to select the background object we want to isolate so that way we can add an outline or a drop shadow to it. We're just going to go to our background layer and we're going to go to our magic wand that I showed off earlier. Let's just do the exclamation point. This will be an easy way to show it off. You can just select here. Oh wait, that's way too much. Look at that. It's got the entire background selected. So we're going to change the tolerance down so that it only selects the exclamation point. Now see, there's a little bit of dottage here. It's not perfect. We're just going to take our rectangle select, go to add mode, and then we can just select all of the little dots so that we can get the rest of it selected. Perfect. Look at that. We got the top of the exclamation point. After we have it all selected, we're just going to do Control C to copy. It's going to copy all of the selected bits. Then we can add another layer above the background and do Control V. And now if we hide the background, all we have is the exclamation point. Wow. But we want the background still to be here. We just want to add an outline around it. So we're going to go to Effects, Object, Outline Object, Let's say we want the outline for this to be white. Boom. Perfect. Now our exclamation point has an outline. We don't actually want that though. That's just an example. But what we do want is an outline around our player. So we're just going to do repeat outline object, and there we go. Now our player has an outline and our build looks beautiful. And there we go. That's our thumbnail completed. And now before we save this thumbnail, I just want to give a couple more suggestions. I recommend making a few different thumbnails. Try different angles. Try different ideas. Try a bunch of different stuff. You can do A/B testing now on YouTube. So the more thumbnails you make, the better. The more ideas you have, the better. The more time you spend on this, the better. So don't worry if this is going to take you a long time, because it is. Thumbnails take time, but the more time you spend, the better it's going to be, the more views your video is going to get. So now that we are done with our thumbnail, we're just going to go up to File, and we're going to do Save As. Now we have a PDN version. So PDN is the paint.net file type. So save this somewhere on your computer so that you always can go back and access and make edits if you want to in the future. So save it as a PDN somewhere, and once you do that, you can go back, File, Save As one more time, change the paint.net to a PNG, and save it as a PNG as well. The PNG is what you're going to upload to YouTube for your thumbnail. The PDN is so that you can always go back and open this up at any time in the future to make adjustments. And there we have it. Here is our finished thumbnail on screen. And yeah, it's probably different than the thumbnail on this video because I like to make a lot of last minute adjustments, okay? I always change things, I'm sorry. But I appreciate you all watching to the end of the video. I hope you learned a lot. If you need any help or want to show off your finished thumbnails for suggestions, go ahead and join my Discord server down below. It's free, it's awesome, it's fun. Come hang out with us. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Later!